Check, check. Check, check. What's up? What's up? What's up? Currently a bit of a slower pre-market here, although we did have a sub $1 move. A move that I had some complications on. Ah, freak, Tim already sent. Jeez Louise. Marcelo, bro. Um, yeah, I had some complications on the cheaper stock because I ended up hitting my wrong hotkey. Didn't get in. Didn't really get to make the gains. Kind of a bit of a mistake there. And then we haven't really seen anything else. But for those people using Weeble, man, I got scared today after realizing something with the hotkeys. You gotta definitely be careful. Well, when selling 100% of the position, you could go short if you have a fat finger error or if you just, maybe hit the sell button twice. I'm not willing to find out, so I changed all my hotkeys to sell. And then I'll just keep one of those keys to bail me out if I ever get a partial or if it, ever gets dicey. But so far we're red today, but we're managing risk. We're gonna just take it slow, be patient, and wait for something good. YAAS thought over 4 could have been decent on the move up, but it's been struggling here. It might eventually give it the bull flag breakout, but will we see continuation from there? Hard to say. This is earnings. We'll see if something else comes up. Yeah, nothing looking good in the moment. The headline is so funny. It's like all potential and no actual nothing. How are you guys doing so far today? If you're tuning in on YouTube, be sure to hit the thumbs up. If you're a new viewer, consider subscribing to the channel. YYAS rather, YAAS still fighting. It could do something eventually, but for now, just doesn't seem like much. LGPS, will it start to move? If it gets over 20, 25, 30, maybe it does open up a little bit, but watching here, it's super early. The volume is coming in, but you know, it could be better. Didn't get a chance to check the headlines yet. I don't love it, so I'm sticking to small size. Red, 40 bucks. It looked decent between 20 and 30, but you know. Yeah, I don't think that one is worth it. I don't know. It's a little sluggish, but there's 40. Okay, that looks much better. Okay. We're at 200 on the name there. Not great. Not a clean move. I stuck to small size. Not much there. Yeah, Ross is running some aggressive ads, man. It's so crazy that when you search MMU, you can see a landing page for Ross, which is crazy. So for me, back on the sidelines, just gonna be patient, wait for something else. LGPS, I'll give it an E for effort. An E for effort. AZIO, does it have what it takes? And it's back down, not really seeing anything spectacular, nothing really holding up. A bit of a choppier morning, I'd say. I should have been green on that sub $1 stock though. It's just the only issue I had was a hotkey error, and then that hotkey error led me to figuring out that my Weeble hotkeys are flawed, which kind of killed my mojo. I didn't want to even trade, really, to be honest. Anytime there's something that can compromise your entire account, there's an issue, right? So had to change up the keys. Slow morning, slow morning. Am I a part of Ross's chat room? No, I am not. Although I'm using a scanner that Ross uses. H1, what's up? Good to see you. BCTC. Is Bitcoin still moving up? Will be pretty good. Pretty good for my Robinhood position. Not bad, not bad. Don't forget, guys, as you're tuning in, to hit the thumbs up. And CPL below VWAP curling up. I don't know. The front side move is over. Maybe there could be something here, though. We'll see. But preferably, if I can see something fresh hitting the scans, will be good. I lost on YAAS back over 4. When it got back over 4 at like 415, 412, I jumped in. I'm like, yep, here we go. I thought it was going to get up to like 25, 30. Maybe if we're lucky at the highs for a retest, and then if it's really good, we push through 450. Jumped in at like 415, 413, that area there, and immediately was back out at like 405. Like, okay, this thing did not do anything. Didn't trade it since. Yeah, so for the hotkey, what I did, I whatever amount of shares I'm buying, I just have the equal and opposite key, which is to sell that amount. But in case I get a partial fill, I'll cancel my position, let's say any open orders, and then I'll hit the sell 100% of the open position key. And I have that key far away from my regular hotkeys, because if you were to ever have a fat finger mistake and you have the sell 100 of your position hotkey, the hotkey also can trigger to sell 100% of your account, which on the wrong day and the wrong stock, by just a simple mistake, could compromise you so dearly. That is just too much for me. So I had to get rid of that, and then just put, sell the equal and opposite amount. But with partial fills, that's gonna be the only like real issue. So for me, I don't want to trade anything below $1 unless it's really liquid and tight spreads, I'm not gonna lie though, this is why having a Schwab account, like if I was still at Schwab, it does give me those type of like comfortability, because then you can connect it to DAS, and then you can really set up your hotkeys how you like, versus, here in the Wild West of, stuff like Webull cooking you. And the Webull is okay, but we need to be able to connect to DAS or whatever else to have like a good opportunity. a better chance, better keys. Yeah, you got to be careful with that, man. I only noticed it because I have shift and control for different keys, right? And I'm buying the stock for breakout, the penny stock that came, and I'm like, why am I not in as the stock is going up? So I then hit control and then hit shift to see all my keys, and then I noticed it saying short 100% of like my buying power, which would have been like whatever, how many tens of thousands of shares on that stock. And I'm like, yeah, because on when I used to use Schwab, I would easily hit the sell button too many times. Some days I'll go short by accident, but I'll only go short X amount of shares that I had in the order entry window, and then you'll be able to cover the position. But even that is a little dangerous. But to go short your entire account, because we know there's days where those stocks are just going, right? Like 50 cents, 60 cents, 70 cents, 80 cents, 90 cents, up to 150, 2, 3. Just imagine you have that mistake in that area there. Like losing your account for that is like crazy. That could make you go mad. Like if somebody loses their account like that, I can see them like crashing out for real. Like, which is why when it comes to hotkeys, like these companies, one of two things, right? The hotkey probably should only do one thing, or they should allow you to build your own hotkeys if which would be even better. YAAS backup. Even their offsets, like their offsets is not within the 100th of the penny, but they are giving you the last price, which is good. I don't know. It works, but I haven't really encountered issues yet, which is the good news. But over time, I'll have to see because I'm still pretty new to using Webull in the pre-market. The fees at the other platform is just too much. Maybe for like one good trade a day below sub one, but other than that, I think like the fees are just insane. A few good trades. If there's something that's super strong, obviously, if you can get in with a good area, the amount you'll make will like neglect the fees and stuff. But to avoid getting into like scalping and those type of things, I would just want to stay away because you take 5, 10 trades and you blink and look back and you're like, man, what did I do? Which has happened to me before, a couple times. Well, out of FOMO. So for those of you who are tuning in, we got another 30 people joining us. Be sure to hit that thumbs up. If you're a new viewer, consider subscribing to the channel. Right now, I'm down 234 in my main account, and I'm red 135 in another account here. We had some turbulence with a hotkey mistake, which would have put us in the green or at least flat, maybe. Even though I started off, what was the name of this ticker? NCPL. I started off in the green unrealized on that one, like 3 cents up in the green and didn't sell because I thought it was going to open up. So, you can always leave money on the table trying to get that bigger move. And there are some days where you take that 2 to 3 cents and then it does open up. So you kind of have to just, be comfortable and be content with how it plays out and manage risk. So currently on the sidelines, we're at about 340 or so. If I had to, do some math there, just chilling, being patient, waiting for something good. YAAS. Some traders might like those dips. For me, I'm not getting involved. I have 5 monitors, but you guys can only see one of them. Okay. I'd say we haven't seen something strong so far though today, right? We've had some opportunities for sure, without a doubt, but nothing really holding it down. So for me, I want to be careful, right? I'm slightly red, 350 or so. If there is a good stock, we need to capitalize. If there's nothing, we want to stay on the sidelines and not, overtrade something bad that's just moving slow. Got to make sure to keep myself in a good position to capitalize, because if you hit the max loss early, you're just on defense, you're behind the play, behind the ball. That kind of happened to me at the Open yesterday, really. At the Open, we kind of took some losses early. XPON, we did see on the side of our eyes on one of the other charts, one of the other level 2s, but didn't really look at it right away. And by the time we did pull it up after trading the other stocks, we already took some losses. Weren't in a position to be super aggressive. And that stock required aggression to be in on those dip and rips, the first one that we saw. The dip and rip was good. It played out how it was supposed to play out, but I think the dip could have been a little bit bigger. Other than that, it did go up nicely. For those people who hold even longer, it gave it the extension to the upside. So XPON definitely might have been one of the better stocks yesterday at the Open. CRE was okay in the red to green, which we did capture a lot of it. We had that partial fill for the second half of the move, but the red to green was good. Not sure if the other red to green it gave was as good, but it did curl back up a few times. It's been a bit of an interesting week. Like, for me, I was disappointed on Monday. I showed up 6:30. I came in and my keyboard wasn't working at all, which was pretty dangerous. Some keys I'd have to hit like 6 times, 6 different times for it to register. So, not sure if the keyboard just went through its lifespan or if something else happened, but I did blow out the ports behind the computer just to make sure dust wasn't in the way or anything like that, but I had to buy a new keyboard. Noticed it when I was like typing in my password for the computer, right? Just it's like 10 different times of it not registering the password. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So a good reminder to update your equipment over time. And I have a backup mouse, but my backup keyboard, I don't even know what happened to it. I usually would keep an extra one here at all times. So I only ordered one. I was telling myself to order another one, just just to have it there, keep it in the box over the years when the time comes. Because saving yourself a full day of trading, that could be a huge difference, right? Monday was a hot day, especially. We missed the whole day. We missed the whole pre-market. I went to Best Buy at like 9 a.m. And Best Buy, man, I tell you, Best Buy is just robbing people left and right. A decent keyboard was like 190 bucks in there. And like, yeah. So I just left and then ordered on Amazon 4 a.m. to my door the next day. $10 shipping for 4 a.m. delivery. And the keyboard was 50 bucks. So I paid $60 for the keyboard. I'm like, Best Buy is just cooking people. Well, OBAI, not good. Right back down. There's a seller there as well. Not much on this one, perhaps. We need to see something with high volume. Is there any news on this one? Let's see. Can it get through the resistance here? It can, and it's moving. But it seems a little light, a little thin. So OBAI moving up here. Cheaper stock. Damn. It's a little thin, so I think it's a little bit trickier, this one. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be much. We'll see what it does over the next couple of minutes. PPCB, on the other hand, is there something here? Up 80%, 500,000 shares of volume. Damn, I should have bought the ask, bro. Shit. Missed it. I tried to hit the bids, didn't really. Highs are 350. It could move, but you got to manage risk. Has it stalled out already is a good question. We're seeing a bit of a flat top here. I think maybe. I don't know. I don't think this is such a great move, but if it's able to make a new high again, it could be good. Like the breakout over 2 kind of seemed a little bit more like, it's one of those types of trades where if you're in, you get the move if you're able to get some fills down there. But nothing super structured. So we were in at 15 and out at 8 on the retest there. Yeah, it's just hard to trust, man. 325 back down to 305 right there. So we are going to double our losses on this one. We're now at 600 in the main account here. So the good news is that we're being very patient to wait for something that looks good. I mean, it's up 186% already, but we're not really seeing smooth momentum here. And after the first candlestick, which is tough to catch, we're not really seeing that much of follow through. Same with YAAS after the first like good green candle. Not really seeing like a second, third, fourth green candle. Maybe over 50, it does better. And my hands are not on the hotkeys. Fuck. Shit. Aw, no good. Damn, that was quick. I missed it. Now it put me back in the green, brother. As I'm saying, maybe over 50. When they decide to go, they're fast, man. They move at the speed of light. It's a bit of a low consolidation here. Rejection of 4. Okay. Taking some losses up at 407, 408. Not good. I think the best trade of the day so far was that a retest of the previous highs. Everything else a little choppy, and we're slowly bleeding out. So I think I'm going to take the sidelines here. It could try again at the highs. I think I could give it one last attempt there, but if not, 93, 94. EPOW, cheaper stock. Just a quick. Could be backside. Could be backside. Man, that break of 350 was insane. EPOW also looking a little thin for now. Let my guard down on this thing a little too much on this bull flag here. Higher lows, bit of topping wicks. Took my hands off the keys, brother, and missed the breakout. We did get higher lows despite the lower highs. I don't know. I think it might be done. We are red 8 hundo in the main account and another 2 hundo in the penny account. So not looking great here. But we could have been flat, I think, if we didn't take our hands off the hotkeys there. Like kind of like how I am now. Like, you know, stock kind of pulls back. You're in a place where it looks like it's not really moving, but then it can come up pretty quickly, which is what happened to me. So maybe I'd keep my hands closer to the keyboard here. Got a couple of choppy trades, for example, in at like let's see, in at 410 for the retest right here. Is it that candle? Maybe the candle before at 40 on this red candle. In at 410 right here, looking for the retest. Back down out at 98. About 2,000 shares. A couple of those trades like that will add up pretty quickly. 10 cents, 10 cents. But I don't know if we'll get. I honestly don't think we'll get another high out of it. It's possible, but you know. We had lost on OBAI penny stock, 160 on that one, over like 3 trades. It was a little too thin. So back on the sidelines, it's 8:48. I'm not sure if we'll see another stock in the pre. If so, maybe 9 a.m., 9:15. If not, the open will be at 9:30. A little disappointing on this one though, because down on the first breakout, the way it was looking, it didn't seem like the volume was really spiking that quickly. So I hit the bids for the drop to get the fill. But it, you know, after like a second, it just literally went up like 80 cents. So I was like, damn. But I was expecting like a minor dip in that area. So I didn't think buying the ass made sense. So missed that trade there. And then the break of 350. As we're saying it with the analysis there, it rips through from about 305. It took off. The fine line here today, the fine line. So in these areas here, I you know, it could do something, but there's a lot of risk. Don't forget, as you're tuning in on YouTube, to hit the thumbs up. If you're a new viewer, consider subscribing to the channel. So we're currently red on the day. We had some hotkey issues. I should have been green on this NCPL, but it's all good. At least we discovered something important. as a result of it. A lot of small paper cuts throughout the day on the LGPS, YAAS. We took $100 loss there as well. And then PCB, we had about 5 losers, equaling about $600. So I missed the 2 best entries, and right now I'm not trading any dips or anything. So I think we're on backside, which means for me the move is more than likely over. The 350 trade, I think, would have put us in the green slightly, but we wouldn't have been up that much. I think we would have still took the loss up there at 410, trying the retest. Looks like a good setup here in this area. We got in on this candlestick right here. But that was all she wrote. And that was all she wrote. I got about 2K size for my smallest hotkey on the ask, but on the bids I do have smaller hotkeys down to 500, 15. My bigger hotkeys are around, I think, like 5 to like 8K. And then it depends on the price range, right? Like if a stock is at like $1.50 versus like $6, it depends. Penny stocks, my penny stock hotkey is actually not that big. I only have 8K and 16K. Although having more size, I think, on some days is important. Webull only allows 20 hotkeys too, which is like craziness. Which is madness. And I think most of them are for the open, my Webull hotkeys, but for pre-market, just 8 and 16K. The open, I have, I think as low as 400, 1500, 3000. Then there's 4,500, 8,000, and 16,000, depending, right? Because there's some stocks around the dollar where the spreads are really tight and then it's coming up. And you can jump in aggressively depending on how you're doing, how the move is looking. Not dollars, shares. Everything there was shares. AMOD, not really interested here. This one looks like depths. So I'd say the day was a bit of a choppy day, but also the opportunities were there, right? On NCPL, like the time where I stopped trading it, it was like early because I started looking at the keys. It was super early. Like it still gave a bunch of dips, a bunch of pops. There was opportunity there. And then I think the best one at the open, not at the open, at the pre-market was PPCB. The first move I don't know how many people got the first move here, but it it was there. The break of 2, as I mentioned. The difference is buying the ask versus buying the bid for me. And then the next big setup, the break of 350 and the retest of the previous highs. The good thing too is when it came to 350, it kind of hesitated for a second, but my hands were just not on the buy button there. I missed it. So the two best setups, I got, nowhere to be seen, and then I got chopped in some of the other areas. AMOD chopping around, not much there. The fine line is going to get me today, the fine line. I believe if I come in and whether my hotkeys were good or I didn't recognize, the issue that I had, I do think I would be ending green on NCPL. How much? I don't think that much, maybe 400 max, because I think I could have gotten caught in like one of the dips. I was watching it at one of those areas, and I'm like, yeah, that dip, I could have gotten like a good 3-4 cent loss. Maybe not 4 cents, but like 2.5-3 cents. And it, that adds up pretty quickly. You can give back like 200 off the top, like, in one trade. But I would have been green though, because when I had the hotkey issue, or I clicked the wrong key really to start the whole thing, right? So I recognized everything. But when I clicked the wrong key in that area, it was like the beginning of the new uptrend. But everything is for a good reason. Because an account ending discovery is important. So if you're now tuning in, right? If you're using Webull and you have the hotkey to sell 100% of your open position, let's just say you buy 3K shares, the hotkey will sell 3K shares, assuming you have an open position. But if you're to have a fat finger mistake and you hit the sell button without being in a position, or maybe you hit the sell button twice, getting out of a trade, the hotkey could potentially short 100% of your account. So you gotta be careful with that one. These type of things are like, it's kind of crazy to think about it, but other brokers also have similar keys. But I think because this hotkey can be looked at in two different ways and does operate in two different ways, that's where people can get into an issue without realizing, So I think that one is definitely worth sharing here. This is what you call giving away the edge. PPCB, I'm not taking it here. If it does go, it goes without me. 440s are the highs. Does it rip through or does it false breakout here? I would have took a loss there of at least 10-15 cents. False breakout. What's tough is that we chopped around for so long that, like, how do you know which time over 4 is going to actually be the time? Like, 410, 415, we kind of rejected it a few times. Seems like the third try right here was the charm. We got 410 to 440. But buying 435, thinking 460, 470 is coming. And, it does happen on some days, but I feel like I missed so much of the move that it's just, and I'm already red, that trying to be aggressive here now is just a recipe to double my red day. So I'm hands off till the open. And the open, we've been red the last 2 days, like 200, 200 or something. So I got to be careful, and looking forward to get a green open here today. There's some conversations around Ross. I got to be careful because obviously I don't want to get into any issues, but in terms of like what I say and stuff. But for a very long time I was how do I describe it? I was a firm believer, let's say. I was a firm believer, but I am a firm believer no more. After this last trip, I like seen some stuff from one of the guys pointed out to me like, "Hey, look at this, and then you will see such and such P&L later, right?" And it just was just irrefusable evidence for me personally, and I was like, "Yep, that's." So sadly, do I think the guy is a great trader? Still, of course, but there might be some gainflation going on, and that's as far as I will say, brother. This is my opinion. This is not facts. This is not anything. Obviously, and everyone has their own opinions, but this is no real evidence. Like I wasn't over the guy's shoulder to see anything, but just from what I saw, from what some of the guys explained, not even some, all the guys really explained to me, it's like, yeah, I couldn't be a firm believer anymore. Still love the content there. Still admire the hard work that goes into producing content at that level and just being so consistent as a teacher as well. There's a lot of great information that I've learned. Things as simple as even the issue I had with the hotkey today. I would say what made me so urgent about it is that knowing from those teachings that you want to protect your account at all costs, right? Whether it's having an account that's too big where you need to take cash out, or finding a flaw where you need to fix it immediately so that your entire account is never at risk. You want the money that's in a trade to be at risk relative to your stop loss. You don't even want that amount in a trade to be able to go to zero. You just want it to be relative to your stop loss, right? So you can manage risk well. So, those types of teachings, I think, as a blanket, can really give you a lot of edge in a lot of ways. But there's some gainflations in my opinion, which may or may not be true. I don't know about him being fake or any of that, but he's not fake, obviously. But there could be some gainflation. Without everything, like, how well would he do? That's to be determined. And maybe one day he does say, you know what, I'm gonna put all the hate to rest, to bed, and then he does like a private trading where he's only there by himself, and then if he produces the same levels of gain in a week, then no one can ever say anything again. But if he does it and then, like, 5K days, which could be the case, then it's like, yeah, something is not right. Ohad, I'm talking about well, if you read the comment section, you'll see YMT pushing up a bit. Lighter volume here though. Here's a question that's important, right? A question that's important is how many people are watching him? How many people are there? Is it at one point there used to be a count, I heard, right? And at that time was like 2022. there was 10,000 people, not including YouTube. YMT still pushing up a bit. I don't trust this one, although it could open up a bit. It could open up, maybe if it gets over 5. I don't trust it. Again, I'm being very like I don't want to like be too aggressive in anything I say because I don't want to get into any issues. But I gave my opinion, and I think I will leave it as that. What does gain inflation mean? Um, gain inflation is if I well fuck shit again I don't know what in I'm PR trained, but in terms of like legal stuff and what can legally get you in trouble, I don't know. But anyhow, I'll say gainflation is if in this context of how we're discussing here, is if I buy, let's say I call out this stock YMT and I already bought, and then 200 people here, X, let's say 500 shares a person. Maybe not everyone takes the order because maybe they're not watching at the same time or somebody's watching a different stock, whatever. But let's just say 80%, 60% of people, 60% of people at 500 share average or something, 300 share average, just, looks to take a similar position because I'm quote unquote right most of the time. Then if I'm already in, then, maybe there's a move behind me and then it's easier to get out, right? I'm not, again, I'm just giving my opinion. I'm not saying anything is factual, anything is true. Everyone has their own opinions out there. But I'm saying that for years I was like a firm believer that this guy's undisputably the goat. But after this recent trip, I think I have to put like a small asterisk next to the goat, like the goat term. But the guy is a great trader. He's sound, like you have to give him the credit in the first place, which is that the guy is amazing at what he does, right? Like in terms of just his teaching, his YouTube, his course, his content, everything is like, he's done live teachings of his course where he doesn't even make a mistake in a one word he pronounces, you know? Like the guy is like built for this type of stuff. Very sound, very disciplined. Like regardless of any gainflation or anything, like there's still so much discipline there, and like I think without a community, he'd still be a great trader, obviously. But then that's the question: like, without a community, would the gains be the exact same, or would they be a little less? That's the only thing I think people are like asking, really. Would a 50K day become a 15K day, a 5K day, a 10K day, a 20K day, or would a 50K day become a 100K day because maybe there's no pressure of trading with a bunch of people? I mean, I don't know, right? Well, we would need to see it to find out. And it would have to be for a prolonged period of time, like not just a day or two, but like maybe a few weeks, maybe 3 weeks of no contact, right? Which probably is never going to happen, but that's I think that's what I think is like the only solution. But does he care about this? Probably not. Like I mean, honestly, why would he in the first place? Like it. But again, during like 2022, early 2023, there used to be 10,000 people in there, not including the YouTube channel, right? So how many people are there now? I mean, his channel has doubled in size, but obviously people trading is like a rotating door. People come and go, people blow up accounts, some people stick around for longer. I have no idea. Yeah, the question again is not that he's not a great trader, right? But without a community, would there be would the gains be the same or would the gains be less? I think that's the real question that's being posed, not if he's a good trader or not. I think he is a good trader. I think most people knows that he is a good trader. But would the gains be less? Would the gains be more? Would the gains be the same? But anyhow, moving on. Into the open. Our best stock in the pre-market, PPCB, has ran its course. Where I can't believe I didn't get that 350 breakout. Like, if it took like 3 seconds slower, I would have been in like season in. It just was in a place where it just didn't seem threatening towards the highs at all. So I kind of like relaxed a little bit, took my hands off the keys, started talking about what I think was going on with the move and where my next best trade maybe could be. And then boom, it's like in that moment, it's just already at the price point, and I'm like, damn. It flew away and went by. It went by like a deadline. The next team house will be in Brazil in the next 2 weeks, I think. There's a high chance I fly down to Brazil. In fact, I got to check my tickets today. The boys will be in Rio, São Paulo, and perhaps some other parts of Brazil. Brazil, then maybe China, and then Japan, then somewhere else. Australia even has been mentioned. Mexico, Australia, but CELU, is there something here? Not really super interested in trading pre-market at this time, but if it opens up, there could be something. 48%, 1.2 million shares of volume, highs are at 140. Can we see 160, 180, $2, 250? So far, not looking like much. So far, it doesn't look like much at all. We've spent so much time talking about inviting the community as a whole to a team trip, but every time we start planning, the mighty pulls out, and I'm like, I'm done with him, right? I'm done with him. At some point, I'm just gonna do my own trading team, and it's gonna be me and you guys in one big mansion. The pastor will do it himself, and obviously there's some risk in this because maybe I do students. It probably will be best to just do students because then there's way more of a safety net. If I do complete randoms on YouTube, there are people here who never type, who I have no idea what they look like, what they do. I'm not worried about physical stuff because, as the man I am, I'm fearless, right? I'm ready for anything. I'm ready for all the smoke. But on a serious note, there's like security stuff that you have to think about. You know, we'd have to do detailed background checks. It'd be a whole lot because you're gonna literally be living with someone for like 5 days, right? Versus if you're at a conference a few times a week or something. Like if it's, and that's probably the best way to do it, but if we're at a conference somewhere, there's really no background checks. People just show up, right? Like Traders for a Cause, you have 300 people in one room, and the safety net is really and truly the ticket, right? Because no one is going to spend $1,600 to go make themselves a fool. You can make yourself a fool for free, right? So that's probably more than likely how it'll be done, like conference style, where we sell tickets and people can maybe come over to where we are, and you know, are able to trade with us and do those type of things. But we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen. There's gonna be another team house in New York very soon as well. We're just doing a team house every week, it seems like. A team house is gonna go down in New York sometime within the next 2 months. Like there's like a 90% chance. And Brazil is maybe like 70% chance, 80% chance right now in the next few weeks. There are OHAD candles and then there are Ross candles. That's funny. You don't pay taxes if you're, well, it depends on where you're a citizen. If you're a citizen of the US, even if you're trading for a few months outside the US, you still have to pay your capital gains tax here, which does suck because, you know, you're not here, but if you're like, there's some traders, for example, who are from the UK, like England and some other countries there, where their tax is like a little different in how it's structured. Like they have to pay taxes to their own parliament, and then, you know, also you have to convert everything to euros, which then makes the dollar a little cheaper. Like they're losing like 20% pretty much when they do convert it over to euros. Bro, I'm cooked. I'm red today. I'm pretty much, I mean, it's like a max loss red day, which is a little frustrating if I'll be honest, right? Initially, we started off green, $90. Then we got in the main account. This is. We'll go over the other account in a sec. Then I think we were red 125. So like, you know, we're like small red, and then the $200 loss came. At that point, we're red 250. So being red 250 is not bad on the day, but then PPCB is the stock that kind of like we didn't get green on, and we needed to get green on this one. I do like that it's curling back up over the VWAP here. But this was the stock to be up like 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, depending on if you caught these moves here. So if you're now tuning in, in this first dip here, before this massive green candle right here, I bought the bids. Not a big position, but I bought the bids because we're at a place where it looked like we're gonna like churn for a little bit. So I hit the bids, and then it just flew up. I'm, you know, like a 70-cent move. I'm like, damn, missed it. And then over here, I let my guard down a little bit. Started talking about what I think is the next best setup, and where I need to be in. And you know, let's see, where were we? We were Ross at 47K. We were at 319 and like, you know, 310 somewhere there in this candlestick. And like I blinked and looked back, and we're already at 350 of the highs, and didn't get my hand on the keys in time. I wanted to take the high of day break, missed it, and from 350 it took off, man. It took off all the way to 438. This trade would have put me into the green, if not at least break even, worst case scenario. At the time, I think maybe on the stock I'm red maybe like 300. So we weren't that big red. We did get like a chop trade or two in this area. And those trades were high of day attempts. So if we pulled back the chart here, we tried the highs in this area here, long at like 10 or somewhere, and then like out below the whole dollar slightly because it came up quick and was down super quick, like within seconds. Wasn't able to really get out with just a couple cents stop. So I think we lost like 12, 13 cents, like 2,000 shares. So that put us red, like somewhere around like 280 or if not 300, and then we took like a smaller loss somewhere else. Maybe in this area. Or break of 4 here, somewhere, some one of these two areas. But anyhows, didn't attempt to trade here. Thought we were a little extended already. I think I did myself a good thing, a good service there, because I think I would have lost buying the highs up here again. It rejected, and then short sellers are making money too, because if they're able to get this consolidation, obviously in here, they might have gotten squeezed, but if they were able to get short in this area, it's been nothing but downside here. If you're short 420s, 410s, or somewhere in the teens, let's say, it did wash out nicely. And then maybe you're covering somewhere here. Some people are probably still holding all day because there's a chance it could make a new high, yes, at the open, but I think it's higher chance that it just, like, it's, by 3 p.m., this thing might be down here at like $2 maybe. That's so usually what we see. So it was a close day, but we did take some chop along the way. And then in the other account, I think the only thing in this account that I could have done differently is OBI, no trades. This one came a little later. We lost twice or 3 times for 160. So we lost about 4 cents on 2 trades, I think. And CPL, a little frustrating because we should have ended green on this one, but very early in the move, I recognized something with my hotkeys, so I stopped trading. In fact, I even got fearful, which is crazy for me because I haven't felt fear whilst trading. I think only twice in my career, right? When I first started to trade, like I was super rookie and I didn't really know how to get out of this position that I was in. And then there was another day where, like earlier in my career as well, where like I had an issue getting out. I think Schwab was like freezing or something. Nowadays, like I've been in positions where I couldn't exit, but it's like there's been some good separation financially. So it's like if something goes wrong and I take a loss like of like 5, 10, 15K, it will suck, but it's like it doesn't really mean much. It would hurt my heart to lose that amount in like a hotkey mistake or like something like that, but it's like it's still a cost of doing business, right? To some degree. But this issue was like an issue that could hand your old account, so I'm like, yeah, I'm not even gonna trade until like I, change everything up here and like actually make sure I'm more safe. Because I've had the issue so many times of selling twice and then going short, or even and by the way, I'll shout out the live stream in the chat again. Selling twice and going short, or just having a fat finger error where you sneeze or whatever it could be. Like when I sneeze now, I move my hands off the keys, but you could easily hit your hotkey by mistake to sell. And it was going to sell 100% of my position. So if I have an open position, it sells 100% of my open position. But if I don't have an open position, it sells 100% going short of my account. So in the wrong situation, you could get cooked bad. I'm not okay losing my whole account. Like, that's too much. Like losing a whole account is crazy. losing 5, 10, 15K in a bad situation, it's not the end of the world. Like, it sucks, but you can recover. But losing freaking, you know, losing what you have in a whole account is craziness. It's 27. We got 3 minutes to open, but nothing really looks great if you ask me. So everything looks like it's cooked. Time to walk away and or wait for a really fresh stock that's really good. I can't help but like today should be like a green day, you know, but the fine line got me today. The fine line. The fine line. Where the heck is it? Time 28:38. We got about 2 minutes. I am starting to feel super hungry, so I'm probably just gonna stick around for 30 minutes to an hour, unless there's like a really hot day or something. Cooked City, Cooked City. Kitty, if you're here, by the way, I might have a Canadian vlog if you want to edit it. Are you alive? You're supposed to have 9 lives. I'm really not interested in the open here yet. I'm gonna have no trades until something really good comes. Yeah, Alice was cooking early today. What did she get green on, I wonder? Like it just looks so similar to yesterday and the day before, where there's going to be opportunity, but it's going to be very tricky, very difficult to capture. Wait, there's a setting? It's a setting you can turn on and off in Webull to stop that. Okay, nice, nice. That's lovely to hear. That's why community is so important. I can look into it after the stream here. Yeah, because the 100% sell key is better than selling the entire quantity that you bought, I think, because some days you could have partial fill, some trades. That way you can always just cancel the open position and then sell 100% of what you have without having to manually type the shares into an order entry window and then try to get out that way, which is way too slow. So I can turn off that setting and I can change back the keys then. The stock is surprisingly holding up well here early. I did not expect this in the first 2 to 3 minutes. But you know, okay. We got 370 up to 410. But I'm asking myself right here, right now, you know, what's a good entry? What's a great entry? We need to be careful of the Christmas tree here. There is a chance that I don't trade at all here at the open. What I don't like is that in the back of my mind is like I know it could fail miserably. Like even dips here. The Christmas tree, we need to avoid the Christmas tree at all costs. There's 76. It's fighting for its life. There's 73. VWAP is at 63. And we have a Christmas tree. This is the risk of the open early here in these areas, man, is that we can just flush out like this. I learned my lesson here from trying to take any sort of early looking bull flag in these situations. I mean, yesterday we saw a few of them hold up though, so I can't say every time it fails, but like was the stock X, was it XPON? Whatever that stock was, that one held up nicely and, you know, gave a few good bull flags early. I think XPON. How is Bitcoin doing? Robinhood in the depths. Cooking me here today. PPCB. Let's come back to it. These stocks are really great for guys like Tim, you know, who they love to buy some of these low flush outs. Like for me, there's just nothing here for me. I need to get out of here and wait for tomorrow. I only love the breakout trades. I think for me, it's like my best setups. And in the moment, they're only like, you know, panic flushes and like rough dips. What was the high there? 55 to 67. You know, 1 minute candle to make a new high at the lows did give a little bit of something, but nothing much. Like, do I want to take a trade here for the 1 minute candle to make the new high again? You know, do I want to buy at 370 here? I'm going to just hang out for a bit and then shut it down. Maybe like 10-15. We got to take the L and hold what we got. Take the lesson, hold what we got. Take the lesson. Tomorrow we can't afford to take our hands off the keys, not even for a second. It's attempting 370. Are we going to see the beginning of a, you know, not beginning, but, you know, well, we see continuation in the red to green here. Scuba trades, 313, 329. And I could have been long at 70. I would have been stopping out and getting cooked in that red to green attempt for the continuation right there. Getting booked. I feel like we need a fresh stock. Like if there's a penny stock that's brewing or something, or like the penny stocks that are giving red to greens are usually pretty good. Earlier we had NCPL. Well, speaking of penny stocks giving a red to green, well, I'm way too late here already. This thing took off. 63 to 73 and then already back down though, sadly. Well, I missed the show there. Come on. Break of 66. That looked like it was decent. And then OBAI, which was came earlier as well. Volume here, not that high. Doesn't seem like it has the chart going for it. Doesn't look that great. It is cooked season. So over 70 here, curling up a bit. PPCB, does it have what it takes to give a red to green over the whole dollar here? Over 415, maybe it could attempt to open up a little bit. The pre-market highs, I got to mark it out like 440s, I believe. So I'm along right here, and I'm watching the red to green, just a couple hundred shares. I'll see if it does hold up. If not, looking to keep it tight. Stopping out 58. 10-cent loss there. 800 shares. Could still be a little early. If not, it might be booked. The OHAD. By the way, we have 277 people, which is quite a lot, to be honest, considering we haven't been here in a month. If you're now tuning in after a long time, we were on vacation pretty much the entire month, and we're back here the last 3 days. Although Monday and no trade day, since I didn't have a working keyboard, came back and found out my keyboard was cooked. Not sure if it ran its lifespan or what, but some keys I have to hit 6 different times for it to like register, which is crazy. And I have hotkeys throughout like my entire keyboard, so yeah, PPCB back down again. Probably ran its course. The red to green didn't hold up that well there for over 4. I still think it's better for like those panic flush trades that some guys might like. So after I'm gonna check the I'm gonna check for hotkey setting there in Weeble. Or just I guess the settings rather relating to the going short 100% of your account. OBAI also pushing up, gaining more volume. This one is above the VWAP, but was a little thin in the pre-market. Yeah, this one is still a little on the thinner side, I think. There's opportunities, but I don't love it. I feel like there's going to be a little bit more risk associated with this one. I need to see something more from it to, like, you know, get excited, get involved. I do like that it's curled up. It's gained a little bit more volume. You know, we'll hold up this pullback and do something. High upside potential, limited downside risk. Usually the key. And it is Christmas tree time. Christmas tree. Let me check the other one again. MI. How did it hold up? Still trying. And that bid helped it out nicely there. At 10 o'clock, I think I'll be out. I think I'll be out at 10. Am I giving some opportunities here? But I don't know if I'll, stick around for it. To be honest, the open, man, like the open, I'm like the open I will love in June month. Like, like let's say a month like June, but I don't know about the open other than that. So we're at like 1280. We're at like 1280, which is not great. Not great. Most of the loss is coming from the open, not the open, pre-market rather. Only a few small losses at the open, like $40. Pre-market cooked us bad, brother. Got smoked. The scuba trades. I think it was a decent day though, right? We had some action. One of those type of days where you really have to thread the needle. Couldn't afford to have any issues, and we did have some issues. Not to repeat myself 1,000 times, so I'll just keep it as that. But nevertheless, a decent day. We managed risk. We got to be careful to not go red into the open here, like as in like doubling our loss. So being that I have less edge here, I think walking away at 10 a.m. Will be walking away at 10 a.m. will be the move. So we're giving back yesterday's gains, which is not ideal. Not ideal. One step forward, one step back the last 2 days. I was really disappointed with Monday because I couldn't trade, and it was such like a nice looking day. But other than that, it's been a decent week. PPCB, the hot stock today. So there's a P&L for those of you who are tuning in, watching on 1280 or so, plus or minus. Plus or minus. PPCB was the big dog stock in the pre here. We shall live to fight another day. We shall live to fight another day. So for those of you who tuned in, we do appreciate it. Obviously, if you haven't, right? Obviously, I know it sounds aggressive, but if you haven't hit the thumbs up already, be sure to do so. And if you're a new viewer, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll be live again tomorrow at 8 a.m. Next week, we might push for 7, I think. I think I'm going to push for 7, but at least 8 a.m. will be good. That way I can, like, get my bearings. Because if I do start live streaming at 7, I will have to wake up even, like, an extra 40 minutes earlier just to prepare for the stream. But sometimes it's easier to just, be here and be able to do something whilst, like, nothing is moving, Like, without the live stream, I don't even put on my RT shirts, because why? There's no need. The past third is here topless, flexing the six-pack. Flexing the six-pack. Marcelo does live stream every day in the chat room if you guys want to check him out. You guys can, you can't just join the chat because you won't have access to him, but if you're an MMU student, then you can Yeah. GK, I would agree with that comment in the chat room here. GK saying the fact that shorting your whole account is the default setting in a brokerage setting, that has to be a money grab trap. It sounds like that. Sounds like the case to me. Especially since the position has two things that it can do, right? If it was just one thing, like, hey, short my whole account, and I have a small account of $2,000 of the PDT, okay. But being that the hotkey can sell 100% of your open position, hey, I'm in 3K shares, sell 100% of that, sell all. But if I accidentally hit the sell button twice, or just fat finger hit the sell button, and it just so happened that the stock is shortable and they have shares available, and I could then short my entire account. My goodness. If like this picture, the OHAT candle, that's a candlestick that just goes straight up like $5 a share. Just imagine like you have like an accident in that area. Like, so luckily one of the YouTube viewers here did also mention that you can turn off that setting in, you can turn off that option for that hotkey in the settings. So that's what I'm going to be doing here right after the stream. But kind of crazy to even think that there's like a flaw right there that you have to watch out for. And then again, that's happened to me many times on Schwab. Even here on Sage, on Guardian, I will go short on some days by accident. Because even what happens to me still sometimes is that I'll get a partial fill, and I don't always cancel every time after a trade. So I'll forget that or just to say, didn't really realize I wasn't in the whole amount. And then when I hit sell, it triggers that quantity of the position in its entirety, and then I'm short the balance of the remaining shares, and then you have to like then buy back. Even that in itself is risky too. In the wrong stock on the wrong day could be an issue. But again, like small mistakes aren't bad, but an account ending mistake, that's crazy. Am I fighting, trying, breaking over 305 and pushing up a little bit here slowly? For me, the reason why I'm not really staying to trade it is like I'm feeling like I'm looking at it like, man, like I don't know if I have any great edge here. Like the trade from 312 to 326 was decent, though. I will say I should have hit the buy button there, but again, the way how it was looking before then, it's like we had this like hesitation going up. So after the extension, I was, being a little cautious. Didn't jump in here for the new high. But over 328, does it go up to 340, 350, or do we just, a couple cents and then false breakout? Which is why I would love trading the open in a hot environment where we're just flying up into those new highs. But if we're just gonna top out after a couple cents or double top, Big Steve locked and loaded. Big Steve. All right, guys, take care, stay safe, stay green. Hit the thumbs up. Once again, we're down 12 hundo today. Tough day. But we will look to be back tomorrow. Here are all the individual stocks that I traded. So you guys can see PPCB was the biggest main stock, I think. Maybe OBAI should have avoided, but other than that, decent day. Take care, stay safe, stay green. Jody, if you are in fact Kitty, I do have a vlog here if you want to help us edit it. And if you are Kitty, once again, I will personally fly you to the next team house if you want to come, just for helping us out here over the years in the community. But if you are someone else, then I'll send Marcelo your regards here, the Mighty. Sadly, I don't know if the Mighty is single, though. The Mighty may be involved with something here. Guys, I have some content from this last house that, like, maybe I might post it, but It's so funny, but not everything we can post. But I'll think about it. I'll think about it. All right. Take care. Stay safe. Stay green.